You know she did something wrong, and you can see the panic hiding behind her eyes. But your first instinct is to confront her, to demand answers and force an apology. Stop. If you speak now, you give her the exact escape route she is desperate for. Most people ignore this psychological truth. 99% miss the last part of this video, risking a lifetime of manipulation because they broke the silence too soon. Silent confession. There is a deeply fascinating shift that happens in the human body the moment someone crosses a moral boundary and decides to hide it from you. Long before the actual words of a confession are ever spoken, the body has already started to violently betray the secret. As human beings, we are completely wired for connection and truth. When someone we are intimately connected to begins to harbor guilt, their entire physiological rhythm changes. You might not have the hard evidence yet, and you might not have the exact timeline of what she did, but your gut is screaming at you. That gut feeling is not magic. It is your brain's incredible threat detection system subconsciously picking up on a massive deviation in her normal behavioral patterns. To truly decode what is happening right in front of you, we have to talk about the concept of a baseline. Everyone has a baseline, a normal, relaxed state of breathing, speaking, and moving when they feel completely safe and have nothing to hide. When a person is harboring a dark secret, their baseline is instantly shattered. Maintaining a lie or hiding a betrayal requires an absolutely staggering amount of brain power. In behavioral science, we call this a high cognitive load. Her brain is working overtime. She has to remember the lie, monitor your reactions, suppress her own anxiety, and try to act perfectly normal. It is an exhausting psychological juggling act, and because her brain is so overwhelmed, the guilt begins to physically leak out. Watch very closely for the silent leakage of her nervous system. When the brain is under the intense stress of concealed guilt, it triggers the body's primal fight-or-flight response. You will start to see very subtle, involuntary pacifying behaviors. These are self-soothing gestures designed to calm a spiking heart rate. She might start rubbing the back of her neck, lightly stroking her collarbone, or continuously touching her face and lips while she speaks to you. These are deeply subconscious attempts to lower her own blood pressure. She is literally trying to comfort herself because the internal alarm bells of her own deception are ringing so loudly that she can barely hear herself think. Her voice will also completely give her away if you know exactly what to listen for. When guilt is building, the vocal cords physically tighten due to the flood of stress hormones. You might notice her vocal pitch creeping up slightly higher than usual. But the most glaring vocal cue is how she manages the space between her words. A guilty person becomes absolutely terrified of silence. She will start over-explaining the most mundane, meaningless details of her day. She will offer complex, winding stories for questions you never even asked. She is using an overwhelming avalanche of words to build a verbal fortress, desperately hoping that if she just keeps talking, you won't have the space to notice the gaping holes in her reality. This is precisely the moment where almost everyone makes a catastrophic behavioral mistake. When we sense that our partner is lying or hiding something, our own anxiety spikes. We feel deeply unmoored, disrespected, and emotionally threatened. To relieve our own agonizing uncertainty, we rush in to confront them. We slam our hands on the table, we raise our voices, and we aggressively demand the truth. We lay out all our suspicions and accuse them directly. While this feels incredibly satisfying and powerful in the moment, it is actually the absolute worst strategic move you can make. By confronting her prematurely, you are completely rescuing her from the crushing weight of her own internal guilt. When you launch a direct accusation, you completely shift the psychological dynamic of the interaction. You give her a tangible external threat to fight against. Instead of battling her own conscience, she is now battling your tone of voice, your anger, and your lack of trust. You have inadvertently handed her the perfect anchor. She will instantly go on the defensive. She will gaslight you, turn the argument around, and make herself the victim of your irrational paranoia. The focus entirely leaves her bad behavior and lands squarely on your aggressive reaction. You have given her a massive psychological relief valve, allowing the pressure of her guilt to escape outward as righteous indignation. If you want the absolute, unfiltered truth, you have to do the exact opposite of what your panicked brain is telling you to do. You must ruthlessly suppress the urge to attack. You must become a calm, observant researcher in the laboratory of your own relationship. Do not give her the emotional fireworks she needs to justify her defensive behavior. Do not give her the argument she is secretly praying for, so she can storm out of the room and avoid the conversation altogether. You must lock your emotions in a vault, steady your breathing, and prepare to use the most devastating, unyielding psychological tool ever discovered. You must harness the terrifying, crushing gravity of absolute silence. Psychological weight. Silence is not just the absence of noise. It is an incredibly heavy, active, and intensely aggressive psychological force. The human brain completely despises a vacuum, and a guilty conscience is terrified of it. When you know she is lying and you choose to sit back, look her calmly in the eyes, and say absolutely nothing, you create a massive emotional void. You are refusing to provide the energetic friction she desperately needs to excuse her behavior. When you do not accuse her, she has nothing to push back against. There is no argument to be won, no tone to criticize, no anger to deflect. She is left entirely alone in a quiet room, completely trapped with the deafening roar of her own deception. Let us look at exactly what happens to her neurochemistry when you employ this weaponized silence. She knows she is guilty, and she is constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. She is anticipating the confrontation. When that confrontation never comes, her brain goes into a state of absolute hypervigilance. Her cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone, begin to skyrocket. Her brain is screaming, "Why isn't he mad? What does he know? Did he find the messages? Did someone talk to him?" Your calm, unbothered silence forces her brain to generate terrifying worst-case scenarios. The psychological pressure of not knowing what you know is infinitely more agonizing than any screaming match could ever be. As this internal pressure builds, you will witness the fascinating phenomenon of extreme overcompensation. Because she feels the heavy, silent judgment in the air, she will desperately try to fix the invisible rupture without actually admitting fault. Out of nowhere, she might become incredibly affectionate, excessively helpful, or randomly buy you gifts. She will laugh a little too hard at your jokes and agree with everything you say. This sudden, unprompted shift into the perfect partner is a massive, glowing behavioral red flag. She is frantically trying to deposit positive emotions into your emotional bank account because she knows a massive withdrawal is about to hit. Your job is to simply watch this performance without offering any validation. The longer you hold your silence, the more her paranoia will compound. Guilt is an incredibly corrosive emotion. It eats away at the rational mind from the inside out. When you remain a completely blank slate, she will start projecting her own intense guilt onto your neutral expressions. If you send a short text, she will analyze it for hours. If you stare out the window, she will assume you are contemplating leaving her. Your lack of reaction becomes a terrifying mirror, reflecting her own shame back at her. She will become jittery, her sleep architecture will break down, and she will find it physically impossible to hold prolonged eye contact with you. The silence is quite literally suffocating her nervous system. You have to understand that truth is like water behind a cracked dam. The guilt is the water, and her deceptive facade is the concrete holding it back. An aggressive accusation is like throwing a rock at the dam. It might chip the paint, but she will quickly patch it up with a defensive lie. But silence is the relentless, unstoppable pressure of the water itself. It pushes heavily against the concrete from the inside, day after day, night after night. Eventually, the structural integrity of the lie must fail. By refusing to confront her, you are forcing her to bear the entire excruciating weight of the deception all by herself. You are making the act of hiding the truth far more painful than the act of confessing it. This approach requires an immense amount of patience and a deep understanding of human vulnerability. You are watching someone you care about wrestle with their own dark side, and it is not easy to witness. But it is absolutely necessary for the long-term health of your own psychological boundaries. If you force the truth out of her through intimidation or snooping, you will never truly know if she is sorry for what she did or if she is just sorry she got caught. But if you hold your ground in quiet sovereignty and she eventually cracks under the weight of her own conscience, you force her to take true accountability. She has to bring the truth to you, which completely resets the power dynamic in your favor. Do not interrupt the powerful biological process of a guilty conscience breaking down. Do not offer a life raft to someone who chose to jump into deceitful waters. Let the awkward pauses linger at the dinner table. Let the heavy atmosphere fill the car ride home. When she asks if you are okay, simply offer a calm, pleasant, "I'm perfectly fine." and look away. This gentle, neutral dismissal is utterly devastating to a guilty mind. It deprives them of the conflict they crave to release their tension. You are removing all the oxygen from the room, and slowly, surely, the fire of her deception will begin to choke on its own smoke. The truth is coming. You just have to be strong enough to wait for it. Quiet mastery. To master this incredible level of behavioral control, you must completely shift the focus away from her and turn it entirely inward. This strategy is not about punishing her in a cruel or vindictive way. It is about fiercely protecting your own psychological sovereignty. When you refuse to engage in a chaotic emotional confrontation, you are making a profound statement about your own self-worth. You are signaling to your own brain that you are deeply secure, that you do not need to beg for honesty, and that you will not lower your vibration to roll around in the mud of someone else's lies. You are stepping entirely out of the dramatic arena and taking a seat in the quiet observer's box. Maintaining this neutral, grounded posture requires a masterclass in emotional regulation. When your gut is twisting with suspicion, your body wants to fight. You have to actively soothe your own nervous system to maintain the facade of unbothered calm. When you are around her, practice deep diaphragmatic breathing. Focus on keeping your shoulders relaxed and your hands entirely unclenched. Speak slowly, clearly, and softly. By physically forcing your body into a state of profound relaxation, you send an undeniable signal of high-value dominance. You become an unmovable mountain in the face of her emotional turbulence. Your calm presence will contrast so sharply with her internal chaos that it will accelerate her inevitable breakdown. As the days pass and the guilt becomes a crushing physical weight, she will start launching fishing expeditions. She will throw out small, seemingly innocent statements to test the waters and gauge your emotional state. She might say, "You've been so quiet lately, are you mad at me?" This is the critical test. If you bite the hook and start listing your grievances, you lose your power. The absolute best response is a warm, entirely neutral deflection. "No, I'm just thinking about a few things. Everything is fine." The complete lack of accusation, combined with the subtle hint that you are analyzing something, will send her mind into an absolute tailspin. You are giving her nothing, which forces her to imagine everything. Eventually, the cognitive load will reach its absolute maximum capacity. The human brain simply cannot sustain a state of high alert deception indefinitely without experiencing a severe psychological fracture. She will hit the breaking point. This break can manifest in a few different ways. She might suddenly burst into tears over a completely unrelated, minor inconvenience. She might become irrationally angry and try to pick a fight over the dishes just to release the pent-up cortisol. Or she might finally collapse, sit you down, and let the truth spill out of her in a rush of exhausted, terrified honesty. Whichever way it happens, you will know that the dam has finally burst. Your silence has won. When the confession finally comes, your reaction in that exact moment defines the future of your self-respect. Do not gloat, do not smile, do not raise your voice in sudden victory. You must receive the truth with the exact same chilling, unbothered calm that you maintained during the silence. Listen to her words, watch her body language, and let her empty every last drop of the secret. Do not interrupt her to correct her or to express your pain. Let her talk until she has absolutely nothing left to say. By maintaining your high-value composure, you demonstrate that her betrayal did not break you. You expected the truth to eventually reveal itself, and it did exactly as you anticipated. There is a profound, universal lesson hidden in the dynamic of the unspoken truth. Human beings will always, inevitably, show you exactly who they are if you just give them enough unobstructed space to do so. Our biggest flaw in relationships is that we constantly interrupt people while they are busy revealing their true character. We jump in to save them, to fight them, or to guide them toward the answers we want to hear. But when you step back and master the psychology of silence, you force people to stand entirely naked in the light of their own actions. You do not have to act as a detective in your own life. The truth is a living, breathing entity. It always wants to be free. You are the ultimate architect of your own peace. You never have to compromise your dignity by screaming, begging, or turning into someone you despise just to uncover a lie. True, unshakable power is remaining beautifully still while the storm rages around you. Let her carry the agonizing weight of her own choices. Let the heavy, crushing gravity of her guilt do all the exhaustive, emotional heavy lifting for you. Step back, breathe deeply, and trust the undeniable laws of human behavior. The shadows cannot hide forever when you refuse to turn off the light. Stand firm in your quiet mastery, and the absolute truth will always find its way directly to your feet. Be honest, have you ever ruined your own leverage by blowing up and confronting someone too soon? Which part of this silent strategy feels the hardest for you to actually execute? Let me know in the comments below. Let's decode this together.